Ci siamo? Ci siamo o non ci siamo? Sì, ci siamo. Ok, questo è sistemato. Perfect. Welcome, welcome, children of the night, for this new adventure. The game book of today is called A Saint Beckons by Robert Douglas, and let me just making sure what the fuck does it mean. Okay, I see. A Saint Beckons, perfect. Okay, what we have here, the background story. Seems like some kind of medieval adventure this time. See, it would be very interesting. You half collapse against an elm tree. The arrowhead is still lodged deep in your thigh, throat like the devil. Gritting your teeth, you stagger onwards through the dusky gloom, painting with tremendous effort. Where in God's name I am? Not that it really matters. Then sudden snap of a twig, thrush of a moved bush, and your heart leaps skyward. You stop dead, nervous eyes darting about the forest shadow, yet no attack comes. The shriek of some wild animal followed by a rustle as it scampered in frightened protest at your approach. God's teeth! Almost a whimper will relieve. Another ambush like the last will certainly finish you. You reassure yourself that there should be any Yorkists around this part, but if there were, and if worse come to worse, you can always conceal or even tear off the red rose badge and feign loyalty to the white. You have kept such an emblem for a time when your commander Andrew Trollope fought for the Earl of Warwick before switching side. Many others, including yourself, followed his example. Not much honor to be had these days, you admit, nor trust. How can you trust a man who would readily change alliance to the enemy standard? But such matters, even the battle itself, seems a distant memories, a dream, nay, a hellish nightmare, and one best forgotten. Your primary concern is to seek up refuge, a shelter, some place warm, with perhaps a vegetable broth and small loaf to starve the autumn chill. At such desire, your mouth waters and an empty belly grows in protest. You'd manage to down a small tankard of mead and some beef to as boot leather, or perhaps it was boot leather. Yet even this sorry feast compromised your breakfast. You haven't eaten for what, 12, 13 hours? Now, all made worse by having lost an alarming amount of blood. In your weakened state, you can only hope there is an habitation nearby. I would like to die this night. In this dark place, you lean against the bough of a sturdy oak, as if hoping to absorb its strength. Finally, too exhausted to go on, you give in to your troth of a peaceful eternal sleep, away from this cold, brutal, hopeless world of woods. You lean back against the oak, slide down the rough bark, sit with your legs stretched out. green, sweet, streaked face crane up to the starry heavens. Beautiful, you gasp, so beautiful. I never truly realized. So sooner have you closed your eyes than a beautiful chant relax your whole mind. Blissful, the scripture were right after all. Nothing has my soul ashen to heaven. Your breathing becomes steadier, more rhythmic to your heartbeat. You frown. Heartbeat? Your eyes open, not to heaven, but the same forest with its creaking branches, wild flower scent, while a light breeze cool the perspiration on your brow. The hoot of nearby hoes steer your footer to wakefulness, yet the chant remains. How? It takes you a moment to realize monks chanting, a priory nearby. This alone prompts your stiff, arching muscle into action. Your grimace at the stab of pain in your leg, such sudden movement as renewed the bleeding. Nevertheless, your prayers for salvation have been answered, at least in the mortal sense, which propels you onwards with a fresh heart. The chanting guides your weary step through the forest. The undergrowth is thick and makes the going hard. You pant with the exertion. Then, suddenly you emerge from the tree line to find a wall some yards away. You stagger on, following around and clutching at the coarse grey stone for support. After what seemed an age, you located the great west door. With whatever strength remains, you hammer on the heavy wood. Your frantic blows echo from within. Soon the world dims and you lose consciousness. You regain your sense to find the crucified Savior gazing upon you. The room itself is a simple one, sparse of furnishing, save for the cot upon which you lie, a three-legged wooden stool nearby upon which sit your shirt, shoe and boots. Sound of the sheep and cows in the fields outside, even a cuckoo adds its familiar call. For the moment you are content just to lie there. Lose yourself in nature's cacophony. Eventually you decide to clamber out of the rest bed and search the priory for some water. Your leg wounds has been cleaned and neatly bandaged, although you have a raging thirst. As soon learn that the prior abbot is most intrigued by his mysterious guest, you also shocked to discover that almost 3 days have passed since they found you at the door. Having been afflicted by a deep fever, your life ebbed towards the cold touch of death. Yet, you vaguely remember something brittle being laid across in your brow, after which color returned to your pale feature. The fever passed, and on the 3rd day displayed an almost miraculous recovery. And so, smiled Prior Abbot Richmond, on the 4th day it seems St. Milesburg's gift has come to fruition once again. Indeed, it seems her blessings smile upon you. St. Milesburg, you repeat with uncertain lip. Who? Forgive me, my son. Duty calls upon what so little time I possess. But if you wish, perhaps you'd care to thank her in prayer at the altar watching over her bones? Aye, Prior Abbot, that I would. Despite it being a secluded area, tidings of the largest Milesburg miracle somehow spread beyond the abbey walls and gathered at space as wildfire. Most townsfolk found some excuse to visit on official business, yet in truth only to regard with you awe. Then, on the 7th day, the soldiers came. Okay, are we all ready? Okay, let's go. You must first choose which type of soldier you will be. Okay, let's go with the interesting stuff. What we have: man at arms, light infantryman, or an archer? I was in the field. Man at arms, so front line, light infantryman, or an archer? I was there with an arrow on my knee, no pound aside. I could be an archer. I probably am a man at arms with an arrow. Let's go man at arms. Always in the thick of close quarters fighting, as such you wear harness of plate, most components of which scavenged from the battlefield. Your head is protected by a sturdy barbed helmet. Years of rigorous combat have strengthened your muscle, easily able to wield a variety of one-handed and two-handed weapons, including shields, but not bows. You may begin with the choice of the following weaponry: hand axe, arming sword, halberd, warhammer. Let's go. Let's go with an axe. So I can use maybe a shield later on. And axe. Let's go. So we have this, a rondel dagger, a shield, of course, and a map. Perfect. The heavy weight of the axe crushes a foe's armor. You will inflict one extra stamina point of damage with each successful attack on an armored opponent. However, the axe can prove to be a cumbersome weapon, so your attack strength is reduced by 1 point after 4 rounds of combat. You also carry a rondel dagger. All 15 men bear the red rose of Lancaster, supporter of Henry VI and Margaret of Anjou. The captain of this patrol is Sir Cecil of Kinglet, nicknamed the Raven, owing to his jet black hair and an unforgiving green eyes. Such a veteran has earned a fearsome reputation in battle, is also obsessive in his pursuit of scum traitor Yorkists, almost like a predator hunting them to the end of earth. Clearly, there's more to this moniker than meets the eye. Of course, now it's fully recovered, you reckoned it's only prudent to rejoin the cause. Heard you were here, he growls, clasping your hand in a crushing vice-like grip. Glad I have ye back. The living glad. Okay, this is some English slang, I don't know. I am glad to be back, sir. You spend the Last Supper with the Prior Abbot and the Wenlock monks, saying your fond farewells before they are summoned by the Compline bell. All are saddened by your impending departure, yet one that's inevitable. You are a soldier, after all, and one swore to defend the Red Rose. Desertion is a route you'd never take, no matter how dark the world is. Perhaps their presence is a sign you should return to the outside world. Besides, you don't want to incur the dread Raven's wrath by backing out, of course. As mark of comradeship, you spend the night in the Ney rather than in the more comfortable infirmary, although the considerate monks have set two braziers here to help keep out the chill night air from your bones. Glowing coal casts an amber light, almost subduing the atmosphere. Travel-weary men are soon snoring away, despite the discomfort of our cold, flagstone floor, save two, however, still conversing in urgent whisper. They cast occasional glance your way. Finally, both soldiers tentatively approach. "Hi, friend," smiled the first. He is dressed in the typical fashion of an archer, grubby male gambersome, battered leather cap. Cherished self-bow and quiver are carefully leaned against the wall, although buckler and a rounder dagger are still attached to his belt. Sharp blue eyes regard you with apparent curiosity, perhaps a little wariness, but no hostility. "Welcome to the Raventhrust." "Raventhrust?" His friend then stepped closer. A Guten Tag clunked heavily upon the floor as he rested his hand on its pommel. A giant of a man, clad in Almain munition, harnessed that, from the dance and the scuff, has seen its fair share of battle. Slowly he removes his barbed helmet, regards you with the dark, stern eyes, flaming curly red hair, far more dire than the brazier fire. "Raventhrust," he repeats, in a gruff tone, accent unmistakably foreigner, German or Swiss perhaps. "Pray, that you have actually heard of us?" "Ah, well." "Lay it off, Lucas." "Your pardon, friend. Just this idea of a jest." He leans closer, faint and whisper. "After all, you know that the Flemish are like for the humor, of lack of it. One more remark about my glorious folk, Hook Riverton, and I'll stave you in the skull. Look at Tines, swear this." "Huh. And if I had a penny every time you said that?" "You'd be the wealthier than king," he finished with a booming laugh. "Keep the nose down, idiots," snapped a voice from the dozen men. "Or go dunk your head in some cow dung." Lucas stroked his bear. "I swear he does that every morning. The fashion for him, I'd beggar." Hooks laughed heartily and shake his head. "Dear, oh dear, trust me, you'll come to regard the roost as a second home." You can't help but smile at the banter between these two men, hardened by battle, yet bonded by such. Barrack humor is all they have to get through each day, every day, to defy the face of death. For as long as they can, it's all they can ever do. "I nearly met my hand not far from here," you suddenly blur out. "Hi?" Hook nods, claps your shoulder in sympathy. "I heard what happened. Still nothing amiss with the little luck in life, yeah?" I should make a German accent, but it is already difficult to me to read all of these things in English, so... Hux frowns. "Fate, you are speaking of fate in an high power, God's will. That chanting was real enough, yet the timing proved so real. and Saint Milburge's hand healed you. Her hand, you gasp? But she'd been dead for... Solemnly, Hugh shakes his head. Lucas is not mistaken, friend. The monks informed us of what occurred. They used a skeletal hand to help cure your heels, banish the fever, heal that wound of yours. A saint's virtuous power never disappears. I share your fascination on such miracles, Luca explained, and I would relish a chance to see the blessed hand of Saint Milburge, but curse our est, we forget to ask where it's rest. Ah, I see. Only what you do see is something wrong. Call it instinct, but you sense a certain glimpse of mischief in their manner. Perhaps it's merely unbridled excitement at the chance to gaze upon the sacred skeleton hand. Pilgrims frequently visit such saintly relics to pray, whilst making a donation to the church. However, such homage is made during more sociable hours. Why then are those men asking such a request at these late hours? You decide to test them with an innocent question. Can you not wait till the morrow? The prior is tears at 6 hours. You could make your request then. I'm sure the prior had to... We could be moving out earlier than that, Luca interrupts somewhat abruptly. The raven is intent on hunting down more Yorkists so they don't regroup and cause us further trouble. Who knows when we might return here? Something is definitely amiss, or more precisely two things: that there is no purpose for the raven to rise early, for it will catch any stray foe, whatever time or place, as it's all left to change with no specific objective. Beside which it would be too dark to track them down. Secondly, both previously affable men are growing impatient and agitated. You don't like the way this is going. What's more, Hugh and Lucas are still armed. Oh Lord God, why didn't Prior Albert Richmond impose a condition to leave their weapon outside this holy place? However, to challenge them then here, with their fellow just a stone throw away, would be the most foolhardy. You must lure them away and deal with them quietly as possible before summoning the Prior Abbot. There are two possible options here. Will you feign agreement in leading them to the Lady Chapel and incapacitate them? Or claim you are not sure where the saint hand is safeguarded, but keep a close vigil over their movements? Let's play along. I will choose the second option. Oh, ho, 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 ho. I thought we're just friends. Flickering flame performed a hypnotic dance on the ceiling, lulling you to sleep. Rupert, you wake with a start. Whose voice was that? A woman? Yet there are none to be seen here. Then you remember Hugh and Lucas. Your heart sinks when you can't identify them amongst the snoring men. Instinctively you head for where Brother Rupert, the library custodian, should be. He often stays up late, pursuing all documents and manuscript. You know he's also a keeper of the key that opened the casket containing Saint Milburge's hand. Closer to the library itself you hear angry voices, mostly Rupert, God bless him. Then the sound of a struggle. Rupert, is a redoubtable fellow, yet the oldest monk in Wemlock Priory. Against two veteran soldiers he stands no chance. Nevertheless, he defies both men as best he can, witnessing such brutal behavior toward an elderly man, and a priestly one at that boils your blood. Hold, you challenged. Lay down your weapon now or face me. Look ahead his Gutentag stride towards you, snarling, so be it. Let's go. Let's fight. Oh my god. Doesn't look very good, doesn't it? You notice brother Hubert has been knocked unconsciously by Hugh. Hunger distracts you from the fight, and Lucas sees the opportunity to strike. The pommel of his Gutentag clunked you hard across the head. The world, oh my god, the whole world goes black. Not a medieval song, instead this one. Yes. You regain awareness in the infirmary for the second time, and with a blistering headache, lose to stamina point. Groggily, you stood up. Take a moment, the novice sat beside you says, and drink this. Gratefully, you sip from a flagon of honey mead, then gasp, the relic, Saint Milburge. Slowly, the novice lowers his head in deep sorrow. It has been taken from us. Bastardi! You close your eyes, grow and lie back on the cot in abject failure. Then the doors open. Brother Jacob is stood in the doorway, narrow feature twisted with disgust. From him there is no concern, no sympathy for your pity only. Come with me. The young novice helps you to your feet. My gratitude, I can imagine from here. Aye, very well. Mercifully, despite enduring Brother Jacob's stony silence, at least it's a short walk to the chapter house. This is where the monks meet to discuss priory affair and issue new decrees. You can only hope you won't be involved in any form of punishment. Elaborate arcading adorns the surrounding plaster walls, a flamboyant blend of green, red and purple complemented by gilt. A large stained windows allow the autumn sun to kiss the grey flagstone floor with a rainbow of color. All of Wemlock Priory's monks have gathered to attend this proceeding, set upon wooden benches that lines the wall. A wooden chair has been placed at the epicenter of this chamber when you are instructed to sit. Prior Abbot Richmond takes his place at the lectern, clasp its hand on its fat surface supported by a golden angel's wing. After a long moment he raises his arm. The assembly complies with its order for silence. Fellow Breton, he begins, the previous night our priory suffered a most grievous blow. It is true, the blessed hand of Saint Milburge has been taken from us. Troubled murmuring and sighs of despair begin to fill the chill air. Prior Abbot Richmond raised a hand to check such a natural reaction. Yes, it is a terrible crime that has befallen our most holy order. However, we must bear such burden with fortitude worthy of our monastery, and not allow the sin of anger to cloud our hearts, nor our judgment. Forgive me, Prior Abbot, blustered Brother Jacob, but we cannot simply sit here with the sinner, he points accusingly at you, sit among us. In response, some of the clergy utter protest, others nod vehemently. A few scrutinize you carefully as if weighing your very soul. Prior Richmond calmed the proceeding once again. Pray, Brother Jacob, explain yourself. This man was seen to be conversing with two of Sir Cecil of Kinglet's men. They convinced him to lead them to the blessed Saint Milburgh's resting place, or it could be they bribed him. Then perhaps you can explain why they struggle. Well, obviously an agreement between them turned sour. They argued amongst themselves, frustrated at not finding the key. An elderly monk leans forward. We don't know that, Brother Jacob. This man was in league with. I agree with Brother Thomas, injected the prior. We lack the truth behind this matter. There's too much conjecture to your argument, Brother Jacob. Oh, he stares at you. Then perhaps our esteemed guest would care to enlighten us? Prior Richmond raised an eyebrow. I agree. We should at least permit him a hearing. And so you relate all that happened since your meeting with Hugh and Lucas, your own suspicion and motives, describing the struggle that ensued. By the end, Brother Jacob sputters. What? You dare to weave a web of lies, lines false blame upon the noble heir of Kinglet, a man renowned throughout England. That's enough, Brother Jacob. He is cowed by the prior abbot's rebuke, yet still glares at you with this distraught burning clearly in his dark eyes. I sense you speak the truth, Prior Richmond turned to you, and of course the true perpetrators long since filed the scene. Therefore, we cannot question them, but Cecil of Kinglet felt betrayed by and somewhat responsible for the sinful action of men it brought within these walls. Earlier this morning he vowed to me that he would hunt both men down and return the blessed relic of Saint Milburge to its resting place. In the meantime, I have informed the town sheriff of the thief. Hopefully, Hugh and Lucas will be apprehended and brought to account, although we should all pray for both their souls. And for now, there is nothing more to discuss on this matter. But, and that includes you, Brother Jacob. He offered the spiteful monk a stern look. But we do have other important affairs to resolve. We must not waver in our duties here. Priorly life continues as normal. No longer relevant to priorly proceeding, you are dismissed. However, the prior abbot wishes to speak further with you, so you pace the cloister ground, allowing the fresh autumn air to clear your aching head. Yet your troubled thoughts persist. To help distract from such dark matters, you idly wonder at the circular lavabo and its elaborate carved panels displaying Christ and apostles. A voice from behind started your reverie. Quite a rarity in these parts, although commonplace with French monastery of our Cluniac brethren. Goddamn, speak normally. Beautiful, you remark. Fashioned from the finest Wenlock marble, continued Prior Abbot Richmond proudly. It polished to perfection and in its pale autumn light. Aye, that it does. You wanted to speak with me on other matter? Yeah, he sighed. I fear so. I fear so. Brother Jacob was quite right about one thing. Cecil of kinglet status is a powerful man with a fearsome reputation, answerable only to the king himself, yet is also ambition. A potent brew, you agree? Certainly, but there is something else. Prior Richmond hesitated, expression troubled. He glanced at the image of Peter and Andrew of his seeking guidance. Then, God forgive me, but I cannot trust the man. How do you mean? It was his manner, his urgent desire to depart. Embarrassment, you shrug? As a leader is responsible for the action of this man, eager to find, capture, and mete out a fitting punishment, doubtless is in a hurry to absolve himself in your. And the Lord's high. Perhaps he is a God-fearing man, he hallows, but even so. But you fear there is more to this teeth that meets the eye? I do. You see, it makes no sense that two men, loyal veterans in kinglet service for years, would suddenly risk being outlawed, and God's wrath on daring plan to steal the blessed relic of Saint Milburge. Desperate men take desperate measure, you point out, and yet you're right in that. It was a somewhat reckless move on their part, yet I sense there is something more to this discussion than my opinion on the matter. He nods, smiling at your astuteness, then sighs heavily. Yes, you are a soldier, a man of resource and endurance. But such virtues were lacking only a week ago, Prior. Understandably so, but surely you also comprehend how the blessed hand must be recovered, not for our humble monastery, no, but for the innocence faded to failure at yourself. You regard his raised eyebrows, at first annoyed by any attempt of manipulation by this prior abbot, yet it does speak a plain truth. Yeah, you realize, if were not from Saint Milburge's grace, I would likely have succumbed to death-cold embrace. But there is also another reason. I will help find her. And so you describe in detail the vivid dream from the last night. Intriguing, he whispered in astonishment. It is known our Lord and his saints have in the past designed to speak to those they deem worthy to influencing the grand design of our corporeal world. You have indeed been blessed, my son, he smiled encouragement, and such sign must be not ignored. Here, Prior Abbot Richmond pressed into your hand a coin purse. This should make the road ahead less burdening. Our blessing, my son, and may God watch over your mostly holy quest. Thank you, Prior Abbot. You only take several paces when an elderly man, not a music for an abbey, right? You've only take several paces when an elderly man with white hair shambled into view. So you are going, young, huh? Seb, you grin fondly. You have stayed late into this morning. Something hides thee? No, only that I wish the sample of the lady's tears one last time before the long journey home. Would your wish accompany me? Ma come cazzo parli? Would your wish accompany me? It's only a short walk to the weeping cross. However, time is pressing, and any delay would make your quest much more difficult. Will you walk with Seb or not? Let's walk with Seb a little bit. However, time is pressing. Any delay would make your quest much more difficult. Let's go with Seb. But before going with Seb, I'll take a pause because I rest a little bit my voice. Maybe drink some water. So. Be right back. here we go. Here we go. Oh. It's more like a reading book more than a playbook, for fuck's sake. But we will get through it. And they speak some kind of slang, English slang, that I can repeat, but we'll try. Okay. Let's follow this Seb before going to the adventure. You fall in step with this amiable Cornish pilgrim. Yeah, it's back to dear old Tavistock Fermi. One last cup o'er the last tears, then I'll be away. And as for me, I'm bound to follow the lady beckoning, wherever that might lead. Grim business that, to be sure, fair to happen on holy ground, sacrilegious. Aye, that it is. You walk in silence for a moment, contemplating the daunting task ahead, as you both turn into Collogon Lane. Not far along on here, Seb assures. Yes, no, I recall that he frowns, old age clothing his memory. Rook was in feared desire to live. Coincidental, our prior habit to Richmond observed the same thing. Look the odds, understandable. The Raven had the reason enough. He wanted to hunt down those responsible, make amends with God, and avenge the betrayal against him. Ah, Raven, is what it called? Oh well, all alike to my mind, he chuckled, and so you do. Well, old Raven King took flight, not sure where, yet two are resting nearby. Oh? Ah yeah, nowhere. The Golden Goose, ah yeah, that's it. With clear orders to keep vigil. What information? About Milburge's relic, or the whereabouts of those two teeth? Perhaps both? No, a person. Keep your eyes peeled, fear that rogue. Seb imitates the Raven. Send words to me, moment sets foot in town. Right foot fella. You frown. This is another odd occurrence. He, you ask, not them? Aye, they are after one man, to be certain. One man? It just does make sense. The prior abbot's words return to haunt your breathless thought. The Raven is definitely playing some game, but what? Here we are, Six Seb. Spring water spill over the wooden cross that is cracked with age and engraved, the blessing of Saint Milburge. Legend at its sacred water cures blindness, explains Seb. The good lords know I have need to it. Too many a year spent in the thin mines and age my eyes prematurely, ye see. You wonder if drinking the water from the blessed spring you will grant more vision, and answers. Surroundings the relic's location. Well, it can't hurt. Both Seb and yourself drink deep and is refreshingly poor. Regain all lost stamina point. Then he proceeds to fill a water flask in readiness for the long journey home. Here, Seb proffer you his seashell token that is in the mark of pilgrim. I want you have this, young, and my blessing. And may St. Milburge guide your step to her present. Seb, my thanks. Add the pilgrim's badge to your status sheet. Take care on the journey home. Aye, he grins. I will. Fare Fare thee well. You watch him slowly pace the lane, then must decide upon your own route onwards. With regards to those to Raven King, you will now head to the Golden Goose or make bustling to the town market. Let's go to the Golden Goose. God damn! There are many speech and people talking. I have some difficulty to keep the pace. As a Mac Wenlong sit on the edge of a main London to Shrewsbury road, the Golden Goose boasts a roaring trade. Perhaps travellers along that road have seen or heard something relating to the whereabouts of the St. Beckons relic, always worth a try. It's now lunch hour. More people have converged here for food and drink. Several men have stood or sat aside on the low stone wall, occasionally supping flagons of ale, casually watching a rugged figure being shown to dirty cobblestone. Nobody lifts a finger to stop this. Your heart hangs heavy at such unwarranted brutality. Casually watching a rugged figure being shown to dirty cobblestone. Will you intervene and help the beggar, or consider it none of your business, and press through the jeering man? None of my business. None of my business. I'm done to be nice. Let's go. You push your way through the throng, eventually reaching the bar. The whole place is crowded with locals and traveling traders. You are spoiled for choice in obtaining information, however. Bear in mind, much of it could be mere rumors and fanciful tales, but the landlord might be able to point you in the right direction. Otherwise, you could simply start with the nearest group. Now, let's go to the landlord. It takes a while to get served, but finally you catch his attention. What will be, sir? He asks. What do you recommend? The Runnymede fine brew. You spend 1 silver penny on a flagon of ale, restore 2 stamina points. Also was wondering if you could help me. No offense, sirs, but as you can see, he gestures around, my place is having. Oh, very well, but pray, don't daily. I'm wondering if you heard anything about a stolen relic. Saint Beckons relic, you realize? No, I heard nothing, but if anybody had beggar it was the thief 80 silvers, being applied on much well-known countryside for years. Any idea where it is? He laughed. That's a good one. Now, if I knew that, I'd be rich with the bounty law put on his head. Well, rumor has it haunts somewhere around Harley. He and his footpads, they have been spotted a couple of times out on the prowl. Right, good sir, if you excuse me. This might prove a valuable lead. Will you ask around the tavern patrons who clearly have more time to talk, or you feel you have delayed enough and head north of Homer or east toward Barrows? Let's keep chit-chatting. These folks are content to idly chat and spectacular or recently matter concerning the priory. However, it seems nobody has seen nor heard anything as regards the stolen relic. As you begin to despair, 2 men seated nearby call you over. Hey, friend, grins the first. Thought it was you. We met briefly at the priory, he explained, then laughed. Ravensbrück. Ravenbrust. Ah, right, now I recall. Why are you both still here? Pretty much the same as yourself, trying to learn anything about Saint Milburgh's hand. Although, no offense, we are being a little more discreet about it, using here rather than mouth. Aye, mine was a clumsy approach, granted, yet no sign nor words. Six the second Raven King nothing. We are being punished, but God is taking the blessing of St. Midgard from us for our sin. It was stolen, Harry, counters his friend patiently. Nothing more. Rest assured, Lucas and Hugh will be punished. Still, this could be God's way to root out those whose hearts are treacherous. Perhaps you're right, Pepper. Well, it didn't disappear by foul magic, but human hands tainted by greed. And to prove our worth, we must search and regain that which is sacred. Speaking of which, you interrupt. We aren't going to fulfill such by sitting here. He nods dourly. I admit the goose is a dead end, at least for now. I'd better be away, lads. You get to your feet. I fear a difficult duty lies ahead of me. Peter nods. Aye, you're right. It would be best to head north. Footpaths have been prowling on the road to Barrow Outlet, but if you have time, I could give you some more advice. Another hail my round. I could give you some more advice over another hail. Accept this offer. No, okay. Okay. Well, Peter leans closer. The Raven is in Shintown for sure, for now, sending men into the hunt for those two renegades. So I might cross paths with his men? Aye, it's possible. You could join forces, even find out if they are learned something. So, where were Hughes and Luca last seen? You ask, pausing to take a sup of ale. You take a gulp of ale that tastes sharper than usual. It's possible Lucas is still in possession of the relic, says Peter, although I recommend you don't fight him alone. Not very chivalrous, you know the agreement, but sensible. Aye? Peter continues to talk, yet your vision begins to blur. It bursts echoing in your mind. You try to stand, but a nauseating dizziness grips you. Your stomach aches terribly. Poison. However, by now it's too late. You crash to the floor, blackout, never to waken. Okay. That's it. I trust everybody. And this guy poisoned me. Lesson learned. I'll try probably later after dinner a second round. But fuck me, how many speech, how many conversazioni, come si dice conversazioni? Conversation, how many conversation? God damn, I will try after dinner a second round. And lesson learned, don't trust everyone. Okay. Yeah, I will try after dinner. Thank you, boys, whoever was here, and I wish you all, of course, peace, balance, love, and serenity.